Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Despite the controversy surrounding the concept of crime and punishment and whether it is beneficial or not, punishment does not truly eliminate crime. Committing a crime is based on and initiated by the criminal's mindset. Mindsets that might include nihilist beliefs, egotistical ways of thinking, lack of emotion and sympathy, alienation from humanity, and self-deception. Punishment is not capable of changing one's mindset. It only leads to the wrong emotions that are made up of hate and resentment, which only encourages one to go against the government and commit more crimes at any given chance. Meanwhile, rehabilitation could serve as a more effective route by helping criminals change their mindsets and recover their mental health. Raskolnikov, a young man who lives in poverty and poor conditions, believed in such contradictory theories and principles that had led him to harm himself and others. He believed that he was extraordinary, allowing himself the right to murder others. His thought process has led him to believe that it was not only okay, but he was doing the world a favor by killing certain people. And so he decided to murder his pawnbroker, an elderly woman called Alyona Ivanovna, and took her money. As a result of getting interrupted during this horrendous crime, he also proceeded to murder her sister Lizaveta. He has shown signs of mental illness and instability throughout the novel. He ended up turning himself in because of the pressure, although he did not regret his actions. He spent 8 years in Siberian prison with hard labor. Raskolnikov tested his mental strength by committing this awful crime. With years spent in prison, he had enough time to suffer from his unexpected guilt. Nihilism can affect someone's brain and change the way they think about society. It is the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. Nihilism has caused Raskolnikov's mental conflict and allowed him to think this act of murder was good for society. Newton had a right to murder people right and left, and to steal every day in the market. While legislators and leaders such as Lycurgus, Solon, Tariq Muhammad, Napoleon, and so on were all without exception criminals, and they did not stop short at bloodshed either. Raskolnikov has permitted himself the right to murder after he referred to himself as a special and extraordinary person. Raskolnikov has once stated, "The old woman doesn't matter. The old woman was a mistake, perhaps, but she isn't what matters. The old woman was just an illness. I didn't kill a human being, but a principle. I killed the principle, but I didn't overstep." He thought that by bringing out his ideas and committing this crime, he would be helping to build a better world. He wanted to become a Napoleon. "I wanted to become a Napoleon. That's why I killed her. Do you understand now?" Raskolnikov admitted to Sonia, the girl he loves, that he was only doing Napoleon's service, confirming that hero mentality that he was convinced with throughout the novel. He did not think what he was doing was wrong. Instead, he thought he was doing the world a favor by murdering that pawnbroker. He thought she was useless to society, an awful person, and with her money, he could benefit himself and the world. He also did it for his own pride and to prove a point that he is a superior individual who is fighting the evil of the world. It was clear that his emotions were lost and he lacked sympathy towards human lives. He only expressed regret when it was related to his own losses, such as how much it affected his family, as well as it forced him to stay away from the girl he loves. He did not regret ending the old lady's life or her sister's just for the reason of actually murdering them, especially since he is still convinced that what he did was not wrong. The main initiator for Raskolnikov's crime is his mental instability and issues, which seems to be the cause for many murders around the world. "I hate them. I feel a physical hatred for them." Raskolnikov expresses his hate for his family. He expresses a lack of emotion and mental instability throughout the book. Although he sympathized with Sonia's family and was hurt from knowing that he made her miserable, because of the crimes he had committed, there were major parts where he showed no remorse. Those moments included when he went through with the murder, or when he expressed those pure feelings of hatred towards his family, who would actually sacrifice anything for him, and who he himself used to deeply care about. Nihilism is a factor of Raskolnikov's mental instability. It affected him in many ways and led him to believe that it was okay to end someone's life. If he has a conscience, he will suffer for his mistake. That was punishment as well as the prison. Raskolnikov showed great regret for his actions later on after the murder, especially after his love for Sonia had restored emotion into him. The issue with the conscience is that not everyone will suffer and regret. Some criminals would gladly commit crimes repeatedly if they were not caught. They simply do not care about the pain they would cause to other people, but only themselves. Crime is an outcome of people's different mindset and what is okay and what is not, and how much guilt they can handle. But punishment cannot change that about someone. Raskolnikov did not think he would get caught if he committed murder. Instead, he was thinking about how idiotic other criminals were for getting caught so easily. All criminals share the same mindset, thinking they will not get caught. A study has shown that 76% of prisoners end up in jail within 5 years of getting out. Even the ones that were already caught would continue committing crimes after release, thinking they would not get caught again. There is no use in punishing people if they will continue to do the same thing. Considering if Raskolnikov were to lose Sonia, which is the actual reason he turned himself in the first place, there is a chance he would commit another crime or kill someone again. Raskolnikov demonstrates that he is willing to take his place as a member of society once again. The tears that Raskolnikov sheds represent his remorse over his sins. It is only when he realizes that he truly cares for another person that Raskolnikov is finally able to break his alienation from humanity and begin to sincerely repent for his crimes. This supports the argument that Sonia was the sole reason Raskolnikov was finally able to repent for his crimes and join humanity again. His attitude purely changed for the better due to Sonia's effect on him. It is clear that without her, he would have stayed the same. This opens up the question, how many crimes does one have to commit before they find the reason? Whether it is someone, a sudden belief, or an idea that brings them back to humanity, that allows them to feel like remorse again, it is built deep within the human, something that cannot be reached by punishment, like prison or physical pain. A criminal will not stop committing crime after being released from prison. Instead, they will continue in addition to holding the knowledge of how to avoid getting caught again. There is nothing that has changed their mindset into thinking they should not commit a crime. This leads to the idea of rehabilitation. The idea of rehabilitation is to provide treatment to criminals and help them by changing them into better people and allowing them another chance in life. This is done to recover a criminal's mental health and change their mindset into a cleaner and better one. Rehabilitation is a better response to crime than punishment is because it holds a better chance of reducing crime. Unlike rehabilitation, punishment does not help people change. They are usually the same criminals as they were before entering prison. Since plenty of criminals suffer from mental issues, it is more logical and effective to arrange for them to get mentally treated. In conclusion, punishment does not stop crime, nor does it make criminals into improved humans. Criminals are likely to be suffering from mental issues while committing a crime, as we have seen with Raskolnikov. He was mentally isolated from humanity and experienced lack of emotions. His mindset consisted of Napoleon's mentality, where he thought he was doing the world a favor and that he had the right to murder. He was only able to change for the better and feel guilt again due to his love for Sonia. The idea of rehabilitation has a much better chance of changing people's mindset into not committing crimes. It is to give them a reason to change, similar to Sonia, who was Raskolnikov's reason to change. Since most crimes are based upon people whose actions have been led by mental illnesses, it is rational to treat them and allow them a chance in life to develop and be better, than for them to get out of prison and repeat their same mistakes without knowing any better.